who all miraculously wound up dead off of the most minute basic traffic stop. I guess you now know what it feels like to be black in America.
NANI?! Dynamite! Dynamite!
Interesting. Alright, let's get into it. Clap it. Yeah, let's talk about it. Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Cheryl. This is the Identity Booth. If you could kindly like, share, and subscribe while we talk about corruption in police. As corruption in police, cops, they all go hand in hand. But very rarely do you see a situation where they are willing to go to the extent of killing their own to cover up a story. And this is what's alleged, right? But this is the headline. Cop allegedly killed by colleagues he was investigating for gang rape. Houston Tipping died in a training incident, and the LAPD ruled it an accident. An attorney for his family says it may have been an act of retaliation. This is the officer in question we're talking about. Now, understand, I think all cops are trash. Even in this guy's death, I think he's trash. But I do believe justice and doing the right thing should trump my disdain for his profession. And ultimately, he was a human being who was wronged. This officer was probably one of the good ones, trying to do the right thing. And because of his inability to stay behind that thin blue line, that same line turned into a rope and hung him. So let's talk about it. The family attorney of the Los Angeles Police Department officer who died during a training exercise earlier this year suggested that the cop allegedly accidental death may have been an act of retaliation. Officer Houston Tippings, a 5-year veteran in the LAPD, died of a spinal cord injury on May 26 while practicing a maneuver that involved grappling with another officer. The department reported at the time it was during this maneuver that Tippings, 32, was allegedly dropped on his head, causing a catastrophic injury to his spine, according to the police. But attorney Bradley Cage and Tipping's family believe the officer was beaten to death and that the department's version of events doesn't tell the entire story. This immediately rings true, as we all just know we can't trust cops. Like, of any story the cop tells, it immediately should be challenged. Unless you can prove it on camera, it should be challenged. And I feel like that should be the standard for everything. If it didn't happen on camera, it shouldn't be admissible. But the fact that we give them the benefit of the doubt every time is crazy. Our investigation has uncovered claims that one of the officers accused of sexual assault was at the training where Officer Houston Tipping eventually died. Could you imagine? Okay, first and foremost, could you imagine an officer being accused of sexual harassment, sexual rape? I guess rape can only be, I don't know, of rape. And he's still getting paid? He's still on the job? The taxpayer money is paying for his salary? Crazy. If I dropped a lung on the floor in a hospital, before the last stitch is sewed up on that patient, I'd be fired. During a Monday press conference, Cage said Tippings was actively investigating an alleged gang rape carried out by 4 members of the LAPD back in July 2021, at least one whom was present when Tippings died. Our investigation has uncovered claims that one of the officers accused of sexual assault was at the training where the officer Houston Tipping eventually died. He said, "We have a witness that claims that this occurred. We have documents that claim this occurred, and we know from his family that Officer Tipping, after spending a few years happy at the LAPD following these events, was searching for a job outside of the LAPD, they say. He didn't say why, but clearly was distraught over something. When you look at all these horrific injuries, Cage called the unexplained issue with Tipping's autopsy, which ruled the officer's death and accident in July. The attorney pointed out, in addition to the spinal cord injury, Tipping suffered a collapsed lung, severe liver damage, and several broken ribs. Okay. From my medical acknowledgement and my wrestling knowledge, grappling, which is what they describe the training as, that's a lot. That's a lot. What it sounds like is he got A-Town stomped to death. Tippings had 6 staples in his head. Were they wrestling on concrete? When you look at these horrific injuries, the truth is something went seriously wrong here. He said, "I can't fathom anything other than a severe beating. This raises a number of questions that the family were like, I'm interested to see what LAPD had to say." In June, LAPD denied that Tippings was beaten by officers. "We are grieving his tragic death. I'm committed to ensuring that the investigation is comprehensive." When reached out for comment, LAPD told Vice News it would not provide a statement about pending investigation and litigation. So yeah, just want to be clear. You sided with the wrong side, my guy. You picked the wrong team. And regardless of how nice or how good you are, I don't know what your record was, didn't care to look into it. Yo, you became a threat to that thin blue line, and they hung you with that shit. It's sad. It's sad. But this is further proof of why we need to defund the police. Because 4 of them gang raped 1 person, and they're still allowed to train. They're still allowed to have their job. There's an accusation. If there was an accusation of me raping 4 people, I wouldn't be on this show right now. I wouldn't be given the benefit of the doubt to still be getting paid right now. This is the one profession where you can be afraid of doing your job, kill people for not being good at your job, and get the benefit of the doubt for all your mistakes with no questions, no doubts. Mindless. I hope they uncover something, because while this is disturbing, I can think of 100 black people I can think of 100 prisoners, I can think of 100 detainees, 100 arrested people who all suffer the same consequences, who all miraculously wound up dead off of the most minute, basic traffic stop. I guess you now know what it feels like to be black.